Welcome back, horror family. Well, it's that time of year. As horror fans, we all have our film lists, and on Halloween Day, pick our favorite to watch. For many, I know John Carpenter's classic Halloween is the supreme choice. I, of course, watch it as well on October 31st, but there is one movie that for me is held dear to my heart. I make it a personal tradition to watch on Halloween, a film that terrified me as a child and still gives me a chill every time I view it. Cronenberg's The Fly. It is an intricate homage to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, genetically fused with Robert Louis Stevenson's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. An ambitious scientist blinded by his own vocation falls victim to his own desires. A tragic story about a good man who falls from grace, his own creation fatally turning him into a monster. We witness scientist Seth Brundle undergo a transformation after he is accidentally fused at the genetic level with a fly. Brundle first assumes the teleportation machine fixed any imperfections in his molecular makeup, giving him a type of god complex. But as he physically degrades, he comes to the realization that there is a disease forming inside his body, one that not only will consume his physical form, but mind as well. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is Seth's insect politician speech he gives Veronica, explaining the brutal nature that resides within the insect and their complete lack of empathy, subtly implying his impulses may no longer be within his control.
Have you ever heard of insect politics? Neither have I. Insects don't have politics. They're very brutal. No compassion, no compromise. We can't trust the insect.
During this statement, it could be said that Seth was being symbolic in that the destructive essence of the insect he was fused with is surfacing and he can no longer shield these urges. What if Brundle was not being suggestive and was actually implying that the insect personality had taken over? What if at that moment the Seth Brundle we met at the beginning of the film was dead and the insect's personality completely destroyed that of Seth Brundle? First, we should discuss the concept of what is the mind and the physicality of the body. The brain is one of the most complex organs in the human body. What is considered the mind-body problem is a debate concerning the relationship between thought and conscious in the human mind, and the brain as a physical organ. There are many philosophies and schools of thought on the distinction between the question of how mind and body function chemically and physiologically. This can be divided into dualism and monism schools of thought, which includes the Buddhist teachings of the 5 aggregate model, the absence of empirically identifiable meeting point between the non-physical mind, if there is such a thing, and the physical extension, if such a thing exists. I could create a video on this subject that would be hours long on the theories of Plato, Aristotle's concepts, Thomas Aquinas' idea, all concerning where the actual mental thought of thinking and identity meets the physical biochemical process of the brain, which is conscious. All of these could be attributed to argue for or even against the concept of what happened within Brundle's mind and what actually occurred to his brain during the transformation. During the film, we only see his physical change. It is revealed there is a deeper metamorphosis beneath the outer layer of what used to be Seth Brundle, but there is no way to tell what was actually happening to his human brain. For example, the scene where he displays his acceptance of the transformation when he demonstrates how a fly eats, exhibiting fly attributes as an almost boast, similar to when he walks on the ceiling. The audience, however, could only suppose the mental changes in Brundle by his actions in the film, and have to use their imagination for what may be chemically happening in his mind. How did the telepods alter the genetic code and combine the human mind with the fly mind? And philosophically, how did they meld together on the level of conscious thought? Studies have shown bumblebees are capable of learning tricks, which ultimately they will incorporate into part of the colony's skill set, transmitted from bee to bee. In spite of the fact that bees have such a small brain, they are able to learn from each other and take complex action beyond our expectations. Simultaneously, this can be compared to how we look at human activity, grasp behavior passed from person to person. Are there any connections between the human brain and that of an insect? What if a genetically spliced insect mind had access to a higher brain function? What kind of tricks would it be able to learn and adapt to? In the film, Brundle at one point tries to find a way to eliminate the fly genetic material in his body, discovering that it would take additional human material to transfer into Brundlefly and then swap the fly material into an alternate host. In essence, there had to be a sacrificial body to swap the human code with that of the fly. We see this exact swap at the end of The Fly 2, when Martin brings Bartok into the pod with him and Bartok emerges in mutated form and Martin at the back half of the creature is found to return to his human form. What if at one point in the movie the Brundlefly's personality and mind is completely insect and discovers the secret to become fully man? He says at the end that he wants to merge himself, Veronica, and the baby into one complete family form. But in reality, the insect personality knows that by teleporting with pregnant Veronica into the same pod, the fly material will be transferred to Veronica and he will be reborn into a full human. The calculating insect personality desired to be fully man, not a human-fly hybrid, and was willing to destroy Veronica and the unborn child in order to reach this objective.
Saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it, but now the dream is over and the insect is awake.
So, if at the point of the insect politician speech, the fly was in complete control of Brundlefly, when did the real Seth Brundle completely disappear? To me, I feel that the sensitive, awkward scientist we met at the beginning of the film vanished shortly after he disclosed to Veronica what went wrong.
The fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone.
If you consider that Seth Brundle's mind was dissolved at this point of the film, that means at the end when the Brundlefly pod creature falls out of the damaged telepod, the thing crawling to a traumatized Veronica with shotgun in hand is literally a fly caught in a web begging to be swatted. A callback to the end of the original 1958 version, when Vincent Price sees a white-headed fly stuck in a spider's web crying for help. So when did the real Seth Brundle die? At the end when Veronica shot off the monster's head, or somewhere during his transformation, with the insect mind taking over his personality? The answer is somewhere on the line of where conscious mind and physical body lies, and that is something that even the telepods cannot reveal. All we know is that Seth Brundle was a brilliant scientist who, like many men before him, discovered a world-shattering invention that had consequences even his genius could not predict. And the result was a tragedy that left him but a shadow of his former self, lost somewhere in a messy carcass of a man and a fly. What do you think of the Brundlefly? Do you think Seth Brundle kept his conscious mind throughout the entire transformation process? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, listen to a discussion I have with fellow creator Rumors of War 1987 on the brilliant podcast Rumors of Instinct, found either on Spotify or his YouTube channel Rumors of War 1987. We have an enthralling discussion on various subjects pertaining to horror, including Lovecraft, Stephen King, the direction of modern horror, big budget films compared to low budget, and various other subjects. Please click on his page for a plethora of content and give him a subscribe. And as always, remember, stay scared.